what's going on? Welcome to episode 261 of the Marks podcast. KAIIRIII. Stop. Don't do the voice.
Please.
Don't do the voice. Don't make it offensive.
Do not do the voice. No. Or do it then. Good nice knowing y'all.
How's it living, Chris? How you feeling?
I'm doing.
It's
been a week.
Likewise.
Yeah.
Tell you what, getting old sucks. For some reason, I can't move this arm above here, and
shoulder.
Shoulder. I don't know if the dogs pulled it or what. It's been hell all week. Yeah.
Need Cardi to come rub that down.
Something. Who got the magic fingers out there?
Slide up in Jason's DMs if you got the magic fingers. Hopefully that gets better. That's not good.
I hope. Maybe it's because I walk the dogs with one hand. I put them both in one arm for some reason. Like when I initially leave the house, just so I can lock the door and all the stuff, and one just takes off every time. I'm feeling that might be it. So,
yeah, getting old sucks.
Yeah.
Talked about that a couple weeks ago. Don was feeling 33. You were feeling 53.
True.
I'm right there with you.
I need to go partake with that man's workout. Hey, tag me in one day. Let me take a few laps around the track.
And that's what part of my week was. I was like, I need to get back into the groove of everything. The workouts, life had just interrupted a lot of stuff, and it's I really need to get back into the normal groove of things. And
then you just get too complacent.
Exactly. That is the perfect word. Yeah. Just the past couple of weeks, just haven't been doing it I should, and just I'm feeling it. Getting old. Doing nothing and
exactly. Doing nothing and still hurting.
Yeah.
So let's hop into this week that was wrestling. First, I just want to touch on the Andrade situation.
Okay.
Who's to blame here? And what are your feelings? Because there's no, you don't know who to believe on what end of what story. You're getting so many conflicting reports. But at the end of the day, who's at fault?
That's really a tough one to say who's at fault. At the end of the day, he's got to have some type of representation.
Yeah.
It's just so to me, that could be where the blame's placed. Rumor is TKO contracts are different than WWE contracts. That's what one of the rumors for this week were saying.
I had to know that was coming.
Yeah.
Because I like how they added, I seen in theirs, they've added you can't do sports entertainment, wrestling, ultimate fighting. They went across the board.
That's actually surprising with them being the same company that they wouldn't just pivot. But I could see that. But I brought up in our text conversation the other day, Del Rio was one of the first ones that I know that actually fought that decision. At the time, it was a 90-day no compete clause, and he fought it and won it. So there is precedence out there against this. With him winning that. Yeah. So if this is something Andrade would want to fight, his representation could at least, review that and see, and at least make a case out of it.
Now, did he just outright win, or did he take a hit on any end?
I don't know everything on it. There could have been, something to appease both sides. I just know that he wanted to go to AAA. WWE was blocking him, saying that part of his 90-day no compete clause, he couldn't go. He fought it. He won. He ended up going. I don't know. A year is a little much.
That's a little much to me.
That's saying a year that you can't get any type of income coming in, from what you do for a living.
Yeah.
Is ridiculous. If this is true that it's a year, Like it's insane. Like
that's crazy.
You need to do better. What are your feelings on it?
I was feeling the same thing. I'm glad the legal beagle has just jumped in.
Can you hear us?
Ultimately, I just want to see the man wrestle.
Yeah.
Like, if it's 90-day compete, that's cool. I just want to see the man somewhere wrestling.
Yeah.
On his job. Like, do I feel like he's somewhat at fault to blame? Yes, but more so his representation. But like you said, the year is like a little too excessive for me.
And I mean, if they're going after him, like, and again, this is all wording in the contract, what's going on, maybe Andrade thought he was fired. Maybe that's what they were going with. And usually in WWE contracts, if you're fired, then you have the right to go. But if you're, if your contract expires, you're good to go. And if you're fired, you have the 90-day. I got that wrong. So yeah, maybe he thought his contract expired. Rumor is many different things. I think one of them was that he was wellness violations. So yeah, there's a lot unknown. But it's a weird situation. If they need to figure it out.
Yeah.
This way that comes some sort of terms. I'm sure they can.
Like I told you guys in the chat, I was like, TKO probably might make an example out of him, but that's a little excessive.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sure you're going to be right that they're going to try to make the example out of him to set their own precedents for future. Sit there and say like, hey, this is what we're going to do.
Then the fact that all this political stuff coming into the backlash of him being, Mexican and all the fun times. Crazy.
We live in a lot of fun times right now. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is it really slow on your end now too?
A little bit.
Yeah, it's like really messed up now. So if something happens, we apologize.
Sorry.
You never know.
So we have lined up. We have Mount Rushmore, Mush. We have WrestleDream predictions, and then we have a little debate.
Yes, we do. What do you want to get into first?
We'll hop into the Mush of the week.
All right.
I know you have Donald's written.
I do. Donald actually, maybe we'll save his for last because his kind of ties in together, Mush and Rushmore.
Okay.
My Mush of the week, that's where we're going to go. TNA. Bound for Glory was what it was. It wasn't my favorite event that they put on, especially for being their biggest event of the year.
Yeah.
But more so, I do not understand how you have a big event of the year and then take a month off of TV. Like, I thought with them not having anything planned for that month, I thought for sure on Sunday we were going to get some announcement like, hey, we're going to be at the PC this Thursday live or something.
Yeah. Also, there's no confirmation on that.
No, they this past Thursday they did like after the Glory special where it was just backstage interviews and clips from like Bound for Glory and stuff. Like coming off of a big event, like it's mind-boggling to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like they do this from time to time, like end of the year usually, like where they'll do like a recap of the year without TV to give people time off. And I don't know if we're necessarily going to get that this year. This seems to be their period of wind down. Like we talk about in wrestling, should there be an off season? It kind of feels like they're going to take a month off season, but it's just, I don't understand it, especially whenever you claim to be as hot as you are. It's a choice. Yeah. I think that's the best I can say on it. They made a choice, and
so I wonder, will they keep their will their storyline still play out? the interweaving between NXT and TNA.
We'll see on NXT.
You have Talani Jordan. You're just gonna have her off for a month and not NXT.
Yeah, something tells me we'll still see it on NXT, but I don't know if we're gonna see it on. We're definitely not gonna see anything on TNA programming until mid-November.
I really had hopes they were gonna do that TC type stuff.
Yeah. No, I think you're good, man. We can hear you.
Yo.
Welcome back.
Partially welcome back. No video on the pod today. Yeah, man. Back in the saddle per se. It's been, a long 6-7 weeks since I was last on the show. So thank you, fellas, for holding things down and doing what you do, continuing to put out content, continuing to get on here each week and talk. I missed a lot of stuff to go over. I was keeping abreast of the product as it's gone on. Been watching. I had a lot of takes on a lot of things.
There's been a lot of highs and lows.
Yeah, man. There's been a lot. I'm sure there's a lot to get into this week. Obviously, I missed the beginning of the show due to some audio issues. I guess that'll happen when you're a dumb mark who takes 6 weeks off and try to log back in to the show. But
so we kicked off with the Andrade situation.
Yeah, not to put a pause in the mushes because there's a lot of stuff to get into with TNA, and I got some thoughts on that, Chris. But that whole non-compete, compete, the clause was in the contract. Supposedly, there was some screen grabs of the contract shared allegedly by Sean Ross Sapp that had the exact language in there. Reading the language of the alleged contract clause that was out there, it's worded in lawyer speak, as all things in a contract are.
But of course.
Yeah. So, do I think that it's something that will? It's obviously going to play out in court legally. There's no doubt about that. I believe something similar happened with Lesnar when Lesnar left, and the situation may be, circumstances be a little bit different, but back when Lesnar left, it did go to court, and he ultimately won, which is why you saw him in New Japan when he won the IWGP title, and that. So, that's probably the only point of reference that I can draw to this from a comparison standpoint with another superstar.
We were talking about Del Rio with his, because he had fought WWE to go to AAA too, and he won.
Yeah, so it gets murky with being an independent contractor. Now Andrade's is Del Rio's is probably more similar to Andrade in the fact of him being quote unquote released or fired for cause. I think Lesnar just kind of, that situation was what it was, and I can't remember. You're talking, probably 20 years ago, right? At this point,
I think that was 2004 when he left.
Yeah, so, yeah, I don't know. It's definitely something to play out. I'm sure from a wrestler standpoint, this is something that, especially now under the TKO umbrella, it's a situation you got to monitor and watch closely because it will set a precedent when people get released. So, they've been real nitpicky on letting contracts expire, letting people releasing them out of their contract, wrestlers just flat out not renewing contracts. So, in all those instances, how does a non-compete work? And when do they decide to tag on 90 days? Can they tag on, quote unquote injury time? Can they tag on time that he was off for the failed, the alleged failed substance abuse policy tests? All those things will come into play and play out. But the fact that he potentially could not be seen for a year and not get paid for a year is crazy. I don't think TKO can get two bites of the same apple. You either keep him off TV for a year and pay him, or he goes and is on TV somewhere, or is wrestling elsewhere, right? Like, he just has to. I do find it interesting that he automatically became the Crash Heavyweight Championship right away. Because I don't know how. I used to keep up on like more lucha stuff. Obviously with the CML stuff with AEW, AAA with WWE. Crash was ran by Conan. So did Conan leave the Crash altogether because he's with AAA now and that partnership, or does Conan still own, book, promote the Crash, and now you have Andrade as your champion, but you're partnered with WWE? So how does that play out from a partnership standpoint? Like, there are layers to this situation that's very interesting from a legal aspect. It definitely will set a precedent, and we'll just see how it plays out. But if Andrade is going to end up getting paid twice, once by AEW because he re-signed with them and WWE, then he's like, the James Franklin of wrestling, gets fired and gets to collect millions of dollars. Although I'm sure it's not millions, but you know what I mean? Like,
so was it worded as wrestling in general, or was it just televised wrestling? I thought I seen that somewhere.
Yeah. So, and I should have bookmarked the tweet and I didn't, because he was the only one. I'm talking about Sean Ross Sapp. He was the only one that I saw that had the clause up. And I'm sure other outlets, screen grabbed it and shared it without giving credit, because that's what the internet does. But I think it all goes back to like what they essentially is loosely worded in the fact that what they believe they can enforce or when they want to enforce it. So, did he quit WWE and now they're trying to enforce this non-compete because he quit? Was he fired because of the substance abuse policy violations? And since he's fired, did they think, well, nobody's going to pick him up right away, so we'll just let him go? How much did Andrade know based on language? There's a language barrier, obviously. So, with English not being his first language and reading contracts, like, what did his lawyer say? Obviously, somebody told him, hey, you're good. For him to date with AEW and then to come back and just immediately be on screen. And then after that, have him not show face, and people are like, well, where's Andrade? Before all this stuff broke, as far as it being a non-compete issue, WWE feels they can enforce it because they sent a cease and desist right away to AEW. And AEW, rightfully so, didn't, through their legal team, decided the best thing to do would be to not have him on TV no more until it plays out in the courts. Both companies have lawyers, and both companies have the money to go through court. Will this case potentially drag out longer than the 1 year that Andrade allegedly could be on the shelf for? Almost guarantee it. There's going to be motions, there's going to be discovery, there's going to be extensions, there's going to be the whole 9 yards, right? Like, because lawyers know when they have a payday to grab, and they can easily milk both TKO and WWE for money right now because of the way that this case is set up to play out. So I'm sure there'll be plenty of billable hours from the lawyer aspect. But it is something, to really geek out on. There's not a lot of precedents set for professional wrestlers. It was just kind of you're at the mercy of the promoter.
Mm-hmm.
And in that instance, it was WWE for the longest time because they were the only game in town. So they didn't necessarily have to worry about people just automatically leaving or getting cut and showing up on TV somewhere, because you had TNA for a while, but after that, there was really nobody else.
And most of them just honored the 90 days. Like, you didn't get a lot of argument on that you just knew 90 days later, we're going to show up somewhere else.
Look, besides the Andrade point, and not to continue to geek out on the nerdy legal aspect of things, but Rich Holland's situation is another aspect that is crazy. And even KAIIIRIII's, hers may be a little bit more cut and dry, but the circumstances and eyes in regards to that situation is just as bad as Ridge's. Kylie announces she's pregnant with her second child, and then 2 weeks later, her contract's not being renewed. So, you didn't renew her because she was pregnant, and you have this new ID champ that isn't going to be around, but you kept Naomi on board. There's been Becky, there's been other women in the business recently that have gotten pregnant and they weren't let go or didn't have contracts expire. So that's a whole separate situation. Ridge is on an NXT deal, not a main roster deal, on an NXT deal, is wrestling on a TNA event, breaks his foot, gets surgery, and is done. And he put out a message saying that, hey, my contract's not being, I think he said it's not being renewed.
Yeah.
WWE is covering my surgery and my rehab, but I'm not getting paid because my contract's done. But you were injured on the job. Now, he was injured on the job for another promotion and wasn't being paid extra for that match with Moose when the injury happened. So, like, what type of case does he have? Can he go back to WWE and say, hey, you can't, wrongful termination because I got injured on the job? Like, is TNA culpable? Are they going to have to pay money to Ridge over a certain period of time based on injury status? Like, there's a lot of things that can set some very very real precedents from a legal aspect that could either help wrestlers or really screw wrestlers in the fact that they don't have any option and they're still at the mercy of the promoters.
The one that kind of rings in my ear from Ridge's standpoint, it's not the same, but just the wording that I'll use that makes me think of it is whenever the Dudleys left WWE and went to TNA, they tried to use the Dudley name, and WWE said, no, we own that name, even though the Dudleys said that they owned it. And the Dudleys' attorneys was like, listen, you have the right to fight this. You'll win if you fight it. But do you really want to spend the money to fight it? Like, you don't have the money that they have. Steve, kind of like what you said about Andrade, they're going to spend the money. They're going to drag this on as long as they can. And I feel it's going to be the same thing for Ridge, that if he wants to spend the money, he can do it. But is it really going to go anywhere? Because they're going to drag it out and make him spend the money.
Yeah, if I'm a lawyer in the Orlando area, and I don't know if Ridge lives down there or whatnot, but if I'm in the area, this is a name making pro bono case that I'm gonna go to my law firm and say, hey, we're gonna eat this and take it on the shins from a financial aspect, but this is a case where we can generate a lot more revenue in the future if you're certain, and you can never be certain when you go into these types of situations, but you get that moniker of being the firm that stood up to, TKO and won a case for a wrestler, you're going to have a lot more wrestlers knocking on your door for stuff.
Yeah.
But again, we all know, we saw this with Vince McMahon's reckless driving case this week. Money puts you in different categories, and it sets you apart in all aspects of life, including the justice system.
Yep.
So Vince, who's an 80-year-old billionaire that has had several incidences of driving recklessly on his record, but also just in general from stories that you hear wrestlers tell. Hell, Bruce Pritchard's something to wrestle with. If you go back to those early episodes with him and Conrad, there's damn near an entire episode where he's talking about riding with Vince and fearing for his life and getting from one point in Connecticut to another point in 2 hours when it should have took 6. Like, I mean, the man is known to just be out there driving 120 all the damn time. But he got to, give a charitable donation, do an hour class, maybe say an apology and everything else, and that was it. So it's like,
and the charitable donation I saw was ridiculous. Like that was it. Like,
yeah. So I mean, the money is always going to win out from a legal aspect because you can always fight longer. It's just, if I'm a wrestler, regardless of what promotion I'm in, or if I'm on the indies and I'm an up and coming wrestler, my goal is to get to WWE and work for TKO, then, I need to be keeping an eye on this stuff as much as possible.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things with these TKO contracts that maybe were in WWE contracts before, but WWE had a known history of not doing things a certain way, even though the language in the contract said they could. TKO is brand new, and they're offering under a different. They're driving the ship differently, so you can't even look at those past WWE contracts and experiences. You got to look at UFC fighters and how that stuff was handled.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they're handling it the same way that they did with other UFC fighters. So a lot there on that aspect. I didn't mean to come in and crash the mush segment, but that's it's a lot of stuff going on there in that regards.
Yeah, so we started talking about mushes. Mine was kind of the whole TNA situation this week. I had brought up, first, the biggest thing being taking a month off of TV after your biggest event of the year. A couple other things I wanted to bring up too. 2 crowd reactions that did not go over well during the show was the end of the Call Your Shot gauntlet match, having the dual winners. The crowd was not into that at all.
Yep.
And then, of course, the X Division match, getting 5 more minutes and then Dark State coming out, interrupting and just polishing that. And then, speaking of contracts, it was brought up this week that Inspiration their contract expired with TNA, as they're the TNA Knockouts champions.
So prior to Bound for Glory, there were a lot of posts in regards to TNA having like a dozen or so wrestlers whose contracts were either up or were going to be up by the end of the year. And the Inspiration were rumored to be that going into the event. Then it broke that their contract was up either at the event or right before the event, and still hadn't signed a new deal. We've seen this before with TNA with the way that they sign people. It's almost like an MLW type deal where, wrestlers would come in, they'd be signed for a couple months, they do their territory run, and then they would leave. And TNA was similar just because it helps keep the cost down, given how small of a promotion they were. So you're not, you may have a handful of people on multi-year deals, Moose, those sorts of talents, Eddie Edwards, Eric Young, your stalwarts that have been there forever are on multi-year deals. Same with like Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu had a 5-year deal with MLW while everybody else was working, on certain different deals just because you can't pay everybody for that length of time given where you're at as a promotion. This is where the partnership comes into play for me, as far as it's literally a feeder system as much as NXT is, but TNA is a feeder system to WWE. It's not college football, or it's not college baseball, but TNA is, you could arguably make the comparison to them being the minor leagues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where you do have people from college, from NXT, they get called up to the show, to the main roster, just like you do in college. They get drafted and are in the big leagues. But then you have a whole slew of people that are in the minor league system, and they get called up when they get called up. So like you have a lot of people at TNA right now, and not everybody's going to get called over, and not everybody's going to want to get going to want to move over too, right? Like it doesn't make sense for everybody to go the Jordan Grace route, or we all know Joe Hendry's going to end up being there when his deal's done. And they've already kind of like written him off per se. And he's only doing.
I was going to say him not being on Bound for Glory tells me that he's gone.
Yeah. So I mean, this is a lot with the contract situation there. Hopefully they re-sign. I think the inspiration needs to be there in that division. Do they eventually go back to WWE? Yes, but I feel, they're given their status outside of the ring as far as children and everything else. I feel like TNA is more the place for them in that regards, but I don't know what their aspirations are, what the inspiration has in their plans too, right?
I was going to bring that up too. Both of them recently had kids, so maybe they don't want to be on a WWE road schedule anymore. TNA might, limited dates might fit them better for their home life.
As far as the pay-per-view itself goes, the Call Your Shot, listen, you can go back and rebook that 1,000 ways and have it end differently. I get what they were trying to do with the co-winners and drawing the heat from that. It's one of those things where it didn't work the way that they wanted it to when it was put on paper and they made the decision to go that route.
The end of the night, whenever you had both men trying to cash in, and Nick comes out, he has the trophy. KAIIRIII comes out and he can't cash in because he doesn't have the trophy. I was like, right here tells you why this isn't going to work moving forward.
No,
and why we need to have a match at some point. Of
that was an LOL TNA moment right there. And that the Slater Evans, first off,
that was my mush there.
That I hard pressed not to put that in a top 5 match of the year contender aspect, because those two absolutely stole the show and what they put on. And this goes back to the tribalism with the fans, right? That match is an AEW match. If you look at the pace, you look at the structure, the moveset, everything that was done, that's AEW's match style. But TNA fans and WWE fans were ranting and raving about it. But when you see Ospreay and Fletcher do it, you crap all over it. So you got to be able to recognize when things are the same. That's the future state of wrestling. Like, I know AEW has been putting those on for a couple of years now, but if we're looking in our crystal ball 10 years from now, how matches are structured just based on athleticism, where people are going, what they're doing, everything else, that is, to me, that is the bookmark for the evolution of wrestling, rightly or wrongly. It can be good or bad. We can argue that on a different pod.
Yeah, I mean, we talked like that was discussed. We weren't around whenever the match happened, but that was discussed years ago whenever it was Ricochet Ospreay in that whole thing. You know, like that same situation. See, like this is the future of wrestling. This is how it's going to be laid out, and you can see where those two are positioned in wrestling like the past 5+ years.
Yeah, and when they announced it was going to be Slater and Evans, that was I think that was one of the first tweets that I put out. I put, you know, this is going to be a generation's Ospreay and Ricochet. It's going to be that, just how like you can pinpoint back to, you know, Shawn and Razor was a generation for ladder matches, and you know, Jeff Hardy said he remembers watching that match, and then you know, going into TLC, like adding on to the evolution of the ladder match, right? Like you're always going to evolve. It's just whether or not the older generation typically poo-poos what the younger generation is doing. So I absolutely love the match. I hated the ending only from the aspect of you didn't have to start the 5 minutes. Like you could have immediately, you know, the time limit ends. You could have them begging for the 5 minutes. And we've seen it before. We've seen other matches do this. We've seen this in NXT before. You can beg for the extension. You can get the 5 minutes granted, but before the bell rings, do the run in and take them both out. So you're not even, you don't even have the question of it. Would it still have gotten a negative reaction? Probably.
Yeah.
But the heat would have been more on Dark State at that point in time than them going in, ringing the bell, starting the match over with the 5 minutes and not getting a clear-cut winner. You gotta set it up right.
Now the heat's on the promotions.
Yeah. Because the two guys literally came in and turned it up to 11. And then you just the promotion turned it right down to 0.
Yeah, that was an extremely bad booking decision there. And I don't know if, I think Dreamer and Delirious are the two that are booking TNA right now. I'm sure there's other people involved, but I think those are the two that are known.
Yeah, so, from what I know, Dreamer's still the head.
And we've seen things like that. You know, you can see the ECW-esque booking in some of the stuff TNA does now. If you were around for ECW, just on Dreamer and his history and everything else. But you know, I get what they were trying to do. It ultimately didn't work out, and to have two of those, like you said, Chris, on your biggest match of the, or your biggest card of the year, not the best of light in that regards.
Yeah. Jason, was that your actual mush?
That was my mush. It was just like nitpicky mush because I didn't have much of a mush today or this week. But yeah, it was nitpicky because I like Dark State. I enjoyed the match. I just hated that moment.
Steve, do you have a mush for the week?
I don't know, not necessarily. I mean, there were things that I disliked about certain shows and aspects. I don't necessarily want to throw this out as a mush because you don't know yet what it's going to be like, and I don't know if anybody had this to bring up. Actually, I'll save it till the end because it's probably a more in-depth conversation. It may want to wait until Donald gets on.
Okay.
But the AI in wrestling.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, obviously AI is the future. It's in every aspect of every part of the world right now. In my job, it's a huge prevalent force currently. And, you know, there's a lot of things that are being done to train and get people up to speed on utilizing AI and automation and all that other stuff. It's just, how does that play out in something that's based on storytelling and everything else? So like, we can save it. You never know what's going to be, you know, AI generated story, but the fact that it was announced that WWE is getting into the AI world this week wasn't a shocker. It's just what type of Pandora's box is that open?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we can leave that. Like I said, I didn't want to come in here and just absolutely bury it because
to be determined.
Yeah, TBD. Like, oh well, that was AI generated story, so it didn't work. It wasn't on us. Like there's that fallback.
It's still on you.
No blame, but yeah, like. So,
yeah. I got Donald. So his tie-in together. So we'll kick it off with the mush, then we'll go on the Mount Rushmore. The mush being Seth being injured again and possibly giving up the title, which we still need to learn more on this. This is the second time he will be vacating the title. His first run ended injury. This one, and you can say the one with his back and knee, but at least he made it to WrestleMania against Drew to drop the title. Mm-hmm. I know injuries happen, but damn, this man can't be trusted with a very important title run without getting hurt. Come on, man.
That's tough.
Yeah,
that's tough.
Yeah, there's still information that needs to come out from this. How they're going to move forward. How long is he going to be out for? We don't know.
So late breaking in the week. I don't know what day, but probably by midweek. You saw reports of it being a severe shoulder injury, rotator cuff surgery. He'll be out past WrestleMania. It's 6, 7, 8, 9 months recovery, right? Then there's other things of
unless they give him the Cena meds, then he'll be back in 3 months.
Yeah. It would have almost been better for him to break a wrist or break an arm instead of tearing a rotator cuff or that, right? Just because of the healing portion and coming back. My question with this is like, when did it just become automatic fact that if you're injured, you're immediately written off TV and we don't see you until you come back?
That was a Vince thing.
Yeah, it was typically WWE.
Yeah, but
and he didn't do it with Austin or Kurt,
or Punk.
Yeah, Punk's a good one.
Or Bret Hart. You had there's do you have to automatically just write them off and take them off TV?
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially in Seth's situation where he is this figurehead, he is this leader. Mm-hmm. We all knew at some point in time Braun was going to turn on Seth. It would, like, you can just, that's in the tea leaves when they formed the group. Braun
Nobody
Breaker
expected 6 months though.
Yeah, Braun Breaker is not a second fiddle individual, right? Like, he is a star. He is the future. He is somebody that will be in the main event picture for 10 plus years. And that was allegedly going to be the case next year, right? At some point in time. But like, you don't have to just jump the shark and immediately go into the turn 6 months in when the group never really got their true footing. I think now, with Seth actually winning the title at SummerSlam and what they've been doing, now I feel like they were just about to get rolling. And I think the Brawns were going to win tag titles. I think they were going to have, be the group similar to, Evolution, where you have all the gold, you're running stuff, this, that, and the other. Like, I think they were really about to hit stride with stuff. And now you got to take that creative pivot and immediately go into Seth's gone, Braun's running the show, Bronson and Heyman.
They didn't vacate the title, did they?
Not yet.
Not yet, but Seth's not. To me, I think you see it at Saturday night's main event. I think you see Punk versus LA Knight for the belt.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm in the way where you could have played this out in the storyline and milked it much longer. even if he pulled like I want to say, what is it, CM Punk situation in AEW where he was injured, and not the complete pin roller, but somebody at least cost him a match. Play it out on TV instead of just doing this right now. You could have dragged this out a little while longer.
Yeah.
Had him on
And
TV.
they did it on SmackDown too with Jacob Fatu.
Yeah,
it's the same murky situation. That led to that broke Thursday, I think, or even yesterday, day of, where it was put out there that Fatu has a non-wrestling related injury that's going to keep him out for months. But yet the Drew and his match was still being advertised and everything else.
Yeah.
And then you get the scaffolding on him, blood everywhere, and he's written off TV. So if it's like non-wrestling injury, like again, what like do you just automatically have to take him off TV? Isn't there something else that he can do in that regards?
We talked about it during AEW whenever Britt got injured, how she continued to stay on, and that was a benefit for her to stay on. But they don't do this with everybody. They almost pick and choose it across the board.
I mean, Liv shoulder out, gone. Rhea shoulder out, gone.
Yeah.
Cody pec out, gone. Charlotte knee out, gone. It was just like it's like no matter what the situation is, it's almost like the formula now is okay. If you have an injury, and it's going to be 6, 7, 8 months, whatever the case may be. You're going to have your surgery. You're going to go away. You're going to do your rehab. You're going to come back. You're automatically going to be a baby face because the people miss you and are going to cheer you as soon as you come back.
I was just saying they want that return. They want that moment.
Yeah, like you're working the injuries for the pop, and this comes back to the criticism of Triple H just being the king of pops, where he's only booking shows to get pops.
Yeah. I mean, Jason says it all the time. They're in for the moments.
But not all of those moments is what's best for TV.
Yeah, true.
So, and I get it. There are some injuries where it's like you can't do anything with the person, and that's understandable, right? But like, if you're just automatically going to take everybody off TV that gets an injury to come back for a pop, then you're booking for the pop,
and then scramble right away for a new storyline.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's not.
And there's something else.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's interesting. It will be. Rumors were it was going to be Seth and Roman at WrestleMania. So now that changes. I think you can still do Braun versus Roman or Bronson versus Roman. Not saying that Bronson's going to have the title, but you know what I mean. You can still have that play out with some of the faction stuff. I just don't know. If I'm seeing Punk and they come to me and go, hey, we're going to give you the belt now, I don't want that title.
I'd take it.
We'll take it.
I'd have it more than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
What was
like ultimately you want to like, to me the Punk Rollins feud is one that's forever. It's Dreamer Raven, right? Yeah. No matter where they're at, if they're in the same company, those two are going to hate each other and feud at some point. So if I'm Seth, like I want to take the belt, or if I'm Punk, I want to take the belt off Seth. That's my arch nemesis. I don't want to win it because you were out.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But if you start looking at the drawing board right now, Seth's out injury-wise. Roman is going to be on and off TV. He is what he is now. He is what he is. And honestly, not only is that him dipping into the acting bag, but I think there may be some other stuff just given Roman's health history where it's like, hey, given your age, where you're at, what you're doing, like
slow it down.
Yeah, you can't go. And that's to be expected with everything that he's dealt with his cancer and it coming back a couple times, remission, the whole 9 yards, right? So like, I'm not going to just hate on Roman being off TV all the time. but the cupboard is starting to get bare.
Yep.
Cena's done after 4 more runs. AJ announced he's retiring next year. Like, your top star are going away. And I don't necessarily think they've replenished the cupboard without it looking really bare. And you have competition now. So if you don't have top stars and top draws, you could potentially lose fans in that regard. So a whole nother aspect of this comes into play.
Yeah.
It's like it's like there's a gap. You see them, but you have your Romans. There's a gap in between, and then you have Braun, Carmelo, Ilya, Gunther's still there, but I feel him. I have him more in between. But there's that middle section, that the next star. It's like it's
And this,
you got to wait to build.
yeah, and this is where you go from, like, and we've seen this play out through the years, right? This is where you have your Hogans, you have your Savages, you have your Pipers, right? And then you had Bret Hart, you had Shawn Michaels. Like, you had that gap. They were viewed and looked as potentially being the next guys, but you never know. And then you get that next crop in, but it takes time. And if you're not doing the things you need to do in the meantime to build those people up. Hey, Taquan. I know you missed me. I know you missed me.
I don't want a world of LA Knight and Jey Uso championship reigns.
and we've talked numerous times over the past year of how scarce the men's roster is down in NXT right now.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not like they have this crop of men superstars just waiting to get called up.
You got 4.
It's like it's slim pickings down there. To what Steve's saying, the 4.
You got 4. You got Trick, you got Oba, you got Ricky, you got Ethan. You got 4 clear cuts that are on main roster.
Yeah.
And I still don't know if I'll still say Trick's the entrance.
Javon is going to be there, but Javon still needs more time, and he's even said that he needs more time. Like, but he also said if they call me up, they call me up, and I'll take it and run with it and do what's best. But you don't need to rush that development.
No,
just because, like.
And they just released how many people out of Evolve and LFG. So it's
an
like
ID, yeah.
It's like they'll probably be bringing in some new talent for that, but there's nobody really ready to be called to go into NXT, really.
Yeah, I think you see Trick and Oba up at some point.
Yeah.
Probably sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
What was Dawn's end of that Mount Rushmore?
His Rushmore, and we kind of talked about it, was the Vision breaking up. The group really didn't do anything for me, so I'm glad the young guys will have Heyman by their side to guide them in some type of direction that isn't just a tsunami and a spear.
So you're going to just without Seth.
I mean, it's honestly like Heyman's been there from the get-go, so it's still going to be tsunami and spear to me. Yeah. But like that could be the tag team name.
I don't know if I like that being both a Mush and Mount Rushmore, but
yeah, there was for what Donald said, there wasn't a lot to choose from.
Yeah, no.
So that's what we settled on.
I mean, I thought there was a lot to choose from this week for as far as Mount Rushmore is concerned. Just strictly in ring wise, there was a lot to choose from on both on all the shows. Really.
Who did you have as yours?
So, starting off the week, Penta and Dom, I really liked what they did.
He was part of Mount Rushmore, just Dom and his dirty tactics. That was gold.
Yeah, like all that. It's tremendous right now. If you go back to Bound for Glory, then you know Javon and Leon for sure. NXT, there was some stuff on there that I like, but for me, it got to be Sammy and Ilya.
I
Last
didn't
night.
watch it, but
that contender came in late last night. Yep.
Like the whole setup, and it was rumors that Ilya was healthy. They just didn't know how to bring him back. That's like the prime example of doing an open challenge and using it to springboard somebody.
Yeah.
Would I have, when Ilya came out, my first thought was, all this time you had him out, you bring him back, and he's going to lose to Sammy.
I had the same thought. Same thought.
Right? But as the match is going on, I'm watching it, and I'm like, yo, they really might pull this trigger. And they did. And kudos to them for doing it. Like, Sammy gets the John Cena babyface rap nowadays, as far as like, oh, he's just always an underdog, and oh, let's cheer for Sammy and everything else. But if you look at what he's put on in ring wise over this past year, he's arguably their top wrestler.
And what does this set him up for? Doesn't have the title. Perfect timing for Rumble.
My first thought was him and Carmelo. That was my first thought. Let them run. Let them just run. Ilya and Carmelo.
Yeah,
they go together.
If anybody's going to pull the actual talent out of Carmelo on SmackDown, I don't want to pair him with.
I mean, Sammy, yeah, you almost now it's like Saudi, Rumble, Sammy, WrestleMania. Like,
Stop speaking that to existence.
Especially now, Steve, that Jacob's not going to be around, it looks like. So,
yeah, Fatu's out, Seth's out. Like, as far as, so it's just. Yeah.
I still had Sammy as my pick, but it just.
I mean, look, would I have much rather had Ilya?
It's in the stars.
Yeah. AI wrote it. Steve, I think we might be having technical difficulties on your end. Jason, what was yours?
Mine was just like between.
I don't know if you can hear me or not right now.
You're back now. We couldn't before. Yeah.
It's good to know after 6 weeks of being off this show that my internet is still shit in the bed. I have no video right now. I have all 5 bars on the Wi-Fi. Like, it's just. Thank you, Taquan. Yes. Go over to ProWrestlingTees.com and buy a shirt.
I had just to work this whole storyline from just this whole storyline between her and Asuka and Io, and then Dirty Dawn with the hammer in the boot. Those are just pure entertainment for me. But yeah, I'm loving
the Eddie Guerrero tactics of lie, cheat, and steal are only going to make Dom an even more over babyface.
Yeah.
So you have to split him off from Judgment Day.
Oh, yeah.
He's not getting the heel reactions no more. He's not getting boos.
Yeah, and it's getting close to pulling that trigger now.
So, especially if you pair him up with Cena, which they're rumored to allegedly be doing.
I saw that.
Like,
possibly resume checking.
I'll allow it.
I'll allow it in this point, but not with 4 dates left. Like, how does that work out? So, what? Dom drops it to Cena on a Raw, and then Gunther beats Cena in his last match to become IC champ again.
I mean, they're not even talking about doing it on Raw. They're talking about doing it at Survivor Series. So with that, he'd have 1 date left if it happens at Survivor Series. So it would be no run at all.
Drops the Edge at main event.
Yeah, because Edge is coming back to WWE to be seen as last opponent, right?
Chris, who did you have as yours?
I'm gonna give it to the Dudleys for retiring. They're my favorite tag team of all time. Didn't necessarily love the match, but you know, I'm a huge Dudley fan. If this is it for them, you know, I got to give it up to them for a hell of a career. Like the match was something. And it lately, Jason, I'm with you. Like the Hardys need to wrap this up too.
Yeah,
they can't be too far behind.
Yeah, I don't know. Bleacher Report gave it an A+++++. So
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, look, man, we're getting old.
Yeah.
And I hate
that was the pre-production talk.
Yeah, we're getting old just because of like you look who's gonna we ran down the list earlier. People retiring: Cena, AJ, Samoa Joe this week said he's gonna be done after his contract runs out. The Dudleys, the Hardys, I think are gonna do one last run, maybe a farewell match in WWE. Like they're gonna be done. Like it's coming to that end where it's like, all right, my favorites of favorites are no longer active, and my childhood is over with.
Put me out to pasture.
What next?
Is it weird that your favorites are not that much older than you?
Right.
Some of them, right.
I always think about like whatever they talk about Sidney Crosby here in Pittsburgh. Just like Sid ain't the kid anymore.
Yeah.
Like, cut me deep here. We're 3 years apart.
Yeah. He's Unk in the locker room. So like, yeah.
Want to head on into these WrestleDream predictions?
Let's do it. So it looks like we're not getting 0 hour anymore. They're just going to keep doing these tailgate brawls.
Okay.
So we're going to get 4 matches on tailgate brawls. So that'll be live on TNT. So let's kick it off. Eddie Kingston and Hook versus a team to be announced.
Kingston and Hook.
It better not be the Ops.
Yeah. It won't be Joe, but
give me Kingston.
Donald I'm taking TBA over Kingston. I'm gonna go with Donald. Give me TBA. Move on to Harley Cameron and Willow Nightingale versus Divine Vanity.
This storyline wise.
I love the pairing of Bane and Ford with FTR and being called the top gods. That's tremendous. Stokely's great.
Yes.
You know what can be a mush is Jamie Hayter saying Blood and Guts 2 months before Blood and Guts. Because now you're going to have to circle back around and rebook that women's division to get to that match at the end of November. Like it just makes no sense that you announce Blood and Guts in September and you do nothing with it. It's ridiculous. So like, will these 4 women be in Blood and Guts? Yes. Willow and Harley will be on the babyface side. Megan and Penelope will be on the heel side. But it's just like, come on, man. What are we doing?
The rumor is this one will have 2 Blood and Guts matches. So we'll get a men's and a women's this time.
Yeah, don't need that on either side.
We're just doing War Games now.
Give me Divine Vanity.
That's who Dawn picked, and I'm going with them too. So
give me Willow and Harley.
I think last month you had the faces go over, so on the pre-show. So this month, give me the heels.
And can AEW please hotshot Willow Nightingale to the top of the card? Please. I mean, like she is a number 1 babyface champion if I've ever seen one. Like, why are you not doing this? And with Statlander being the champ, you have the ability to tell that story and circle back to all that history to where you have a money-making women's feud.
Yes.
I was going to say that too. Just with Statlander as champ, now's the time to. After Blood and Guts, it's time Willow.
Yeah.
Into that spot. All right. Next, we'll go with FTR versus Jet Speed.
FTR.
I'm
never picking Jets. I'm never picking Jet Speed in a match. Never.
I hate picking FTR, but FTR.
It's FTR around the horn.
So they'll lose.
Yeah. So Jet Speed's winning. And finally, we got Strong in the Conglomeration versus Death Riders.
Hey, this is the most dumbest thing ever. I like
Death Riders on the pre-show.
Everybody else.
Give me Pac in his singlet.
Yeah, I'm going Death Riders.
Yeah, that's what Donald has too. So, okay, the faces are going to win.
Ishii will eat the pin.
Probably. That checks.
What is wrong? What is Strong doing with the conglomeration?
Because they just do what they do.
Yeah. Everybody's going to be in the conglomeration at some point.
Versus the Death Riders. That's a.
Right, Donald.
Oh, time out.
QB1 in the house. I love it.
I'm Shador here. There ain't no QB1 no more.
QB1.
All right, let's get into the next. We'll get into the main card now. Got the Tornado Trios match: Hurt Syndicate versus The Demand.
Look, I love these matchups and these matches, right? But at the same time, is it benefiting any of these 6 individuals?
I'm over this. I'm over MVP wrestling now. You've done this how many times?
This trios match is just an offshoot of the street fight because MVP can't do he can't wrestle a regular match anymore. This has to be the end of it.
It better be.
I love The Demand. Give them a run with the trios titles.
The Demand won last month, right?
They won Wednesday night.
No, at All Out, I think they won.
No, they jumped in and or no, that's when Thing won. It was the triple threat match with the FTR, the Syndicate, and whoever won the titles. Brodito, and then Thing came and beat him up.
Yeah, I mean you gotta put The Demand over here.
Honestly, it doesn't even matter to me who wins here, who loses. I'll go with The Demand. Donald's going to go with Hurt Syndicate.
I'll go with the Hurt Syndicate.
Jamie Hayter versus Thekla.
Is this on the main card?
This is main card, yeah.
Again, this is building towards Blood and Guts. This match happened 6 months too late. Tekla's backstage promo on Jamie Hayter was, "I attacked you in May because you were in the wrong place at the wrong time." That's the basis for this match. That's why, really, you did nothing up until now with these two. We're hearkening back to an attack in May when Thekla showed up and debuted. That's the story these two have gotten. I hate everything about this match. I don't hate the women. I hate everything about this match. But give me Thekla and the heel going over.
I'm with you. I think Thekla is going to win here. Honestly, at this point with Jamie, they haven't given me a really buy back into her at all. Donald has Thekla too.
Thekla, she stays injured.
All right, going to the TNT Championship. Kyle Fletcher versus Mark Briscoe.
Yeah, this is a match just to have a match on a card. This means absolutely nothing. So give me Kyle Fletcher.
Fletcher.
You guys know I'm not going to pick Mark. I think it's just to give both of them a match. Yeah. Like this is a dynamite match to me. Yeah, me and Dalton both have Fletcher on this one too. A stipulation I absolutely hate. We're going to go with the $500,000 match between Jurassic Express versus the Young Bucks. I do not understand why these matches keep going on. Like, it's absolutely pointless.
Money matches made sense back in the 70s whenever they did a $10,000 battle royal because it was okay. Yes, they don't work in 2025. And the fact that you run them consistently is even more of a just, this is my booking. I'm going to pay you guys. I'm going to pay the winners $500,000 and we'll throw 8 people into a match. Yeah. Like that's literally the booking meeting for that. Like it's such a lazy cop out. You have history to tell a story with these 4 men. And you've done nothing except, we're going to give the winner $500,000 for the Young Bucks to go shoot BTE and blow it at another casino.
Yeah, this would be a Young Bucks come up.
I'm going Jurassic Express on this one. It's like you had Young Bucks win the match, like what, a month ago, whenever they first won the money, and the BTE shit after that. Like, to me, like, you're not going to do that again. Like, there's more story to be told with them losing, not getting the money. Donald's got the Young Bucks though.
I don't care.
And to the next match, this to me is where the card starts, and we have 4 matches left to predict. The World Tag Team Championship, Bernito versus Okada and Takeshita. If you do not put the titles on Okada and Takeshita here, this match makes no sense at all. You just had Takeshita win the IWGP title this week. You have the talent of him and Okada. If they lose this match, that there's no logic in their booking at all.
And isn't Okada the international champion?
The unified champion?
Or the unified champion?
Yeah.
I mean,
like there's that tag team turmoil here that tells the story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the can they coexist as a tag team type story here, but this is the match that's going to make me, if they lose, that this is my mush next week.
How you want to talk about like booking that would just set the internet into a tailspin and arguments from New Japan fans and AEW fans and everything else? How upset would you guys be if the first time we see Okada and Takeshita is in a New Japan ring for the IWGP title at Wrestle Kingdom? Okada, the Grandmaster of New Japan, the sensei, the top dog, comes back to a New Japan ring to wrestle Takeshita for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship.
I've brought up on here a couple weeks ago, Steve, Tanahashi's getting that spot at Wrestle Kingdom. He's going out. He's getting that spot. If they would do that, Takeshita actually brought this up this week, and I kind of understand his point on it. You know, where we say Takeshita is an AEW talent. Takeshita has said, he goes, I have 3 contracts under my name. He goes, I'm not a contract for one specific company. He goes, I work for AEW. I also work for New Japan, and I also work for DDT.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, he goes, I'm contracted under all 3. So to sit there and call me an AEW talent, yes, I work for them, but I also work for 2 other companies. Like,
the New Japan situation is a whole pod in and of itself that we can do separately, where they're at and what's going on with them. They announced that they're coming back to the States at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I think it did that just off all the bad news that came off of that the past couple of weeks.
I see, Chris, I'm the opposite with you. As much as Takeshita and Okada should win this match, Brodito's going to win, and this is going to be the kerfuffle that leads to Okada and Takeshita.
That's what I'm feeling you on that one, Steve. But my only thing is like, who's taking this pin? You better not have Takeshita take this pin.
Okada and Takeshita, neither one deserves.
Neither one, yeah. But
and you can't have Brodito take you can't have Bandito take the pin. Not only he is your AEW World Tag Team Champion, he's also your ROH Heavyweight Champion.
So
you sacrifice Brody King,
the biggest guy in the match.
Yeah. Like, what are we doing?
I'm cool with that. Or it's just gonna be shenanigans.
Yeah, let's do a dusty finish and a 10. Let's get a count out finish here or something. Like,
you're gonna piss somebody off.
Yeah.
Donald also had Okada and Takeshita for this match. The I Quit match between Darby and Mox.
Time mid-draw. I was walking my dog thinking, I don't know why I was thinking about this. I was walking my dogs thinking about this, like, who the hell is going to quit in this match? I don't even care about these two. But it's like, who are they going to have say I quit between Darby Allin and Jon Moxley?
Wow. Do you main event the pay-per-view with this match?
No.
Not an I quit match, no.
If it was a lights out match, then it would tell you that it's going to main event, but no, I don't think they will. Kick this show off with this match.
Bro, you've had, coffins, you've had body bags, you've had flamethrowers, you've had people being set on fire. What the hell?
They've thrown everything and the kitchen sink at this.
Yeah, like, how is one person going to say, I quit?
Has AEW done an I quit match?
I think they have.
Yeah, I think so. I can't remember who. I want to say maybe was Jericho in it? Was Jericho and Cassidy I quit at some point? Did they have an I quit match during their run?
I know they had the pool match. Yeah.
I
don't remember. But Taekwondo, you're the history buff over there. Let us know.
To me, they're just so anticlimactic. I hate I quit matches.
Donald's got Mox. I'm not picking him, so I got Darby.
Mox winning.
Yeah.
Oh, I had him. I think Allen's winning.
Yeah, I mean, Allen's going to choke Mox out with the AEW flag that he planted on Mount Everest, and Mox will say, "I quit." What'd you guys think of the video vignette sit down between them two and how it was shot and the production and everything from Wednesday night?
Production, cool. It was different. I mean, you know me, I'm not big on like the cinema type stuff, which to me, I factor that in there. But did it do anything for me? No. But also, look who's in there, and that tells you why I wasn't really interested.
Me myself, I didn't catch it. I have to go back and watch it.
All right, next.
All right, Women's World Championship, Statlander versus Toni Storm.
Stat's going to win.
You're not taking it.
No. Not this early.
This will be interesting to see because it's babyface versus babyface. Like, Tony's not going to get booed. So does Stat work more heel in this match, or do they just truly go out there and do a babyface versus babyface match?
That's the way it came off on Wednesday. We'll see what they do, but yeah. Statlander retains. Donald's got Statlander. And kind of go back to what we said earlier with Willow. After Blood and Guts, she needs to be put in here.
Yeah.
Main event, Hangman versus Joe.
Any other point in time, I would absolutely love this matchup. I hate it being Hangman's first title challenge because Joe's a credible threat to win the belt anytime he's put in the main event picture, but not in the very first defense.
How did we get here?
This isn't his first offense. He fought Fletcher last month.
All right.
But still, it's not a good position.
I'm more than
Jason, to your question, how did we get here?
Like you have two faces versus faces.
Hangman accidentally put a belt in Joe's chest when Joe was not expecting it.
Okay.
And now it's, Joe saying, and Joe's, my God, are we going to miss Samoa Joe? We can do a whole pod on who are you going to miss more in pro wrestling that retires? John Cena, AJ Styles, or Samoa Joe? And my pick is probably going to be Samoa Joe.
I mean, his AEW title run that he had, everything after he was pushed aside by WWE, he's proven why he shouldn't have been pushed aside.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a ball drop of ball drops. I mean, even when he had the belt in WWE for that time, he's the one man who stood toe to toe against Brock Lesnar and one of the heights of Brock Lesnar, and I believe Samoa Joe over Brock Lesnar. Like Joe for me is just that guy. I'll always want to see Joe win. Hangman, as great as the chase is for Hangman and being the guy, it's fallen back into the same pattern when he won the championship the first time. Like he's not carrying the belt the way that he should as champ, and it's not on him. It's on how they're booking him.
Yeah.
Like go back through Hangman's first run. Like what stands out? What's memorable? Him losing the belt.
It's like he has great matches, but it's just what happens in between those dates sometimes just doesn't play off.
And this is not a shot on Hangman, because I will argue to the death that Hangman has been the MVP of AEW for the 6 years of its existence. And I know you can have that argument and point towards Jericho, you can point towards Moxley, but to me, even more than the Bucks and Kenny, Hangman has been captain AEW from day one.
No, you constantly hear about Tommy Dreamer being the heart and soul of ECW. I think Hangman could be that argument for AEW.
I feel like there's too much filler getting to him and MJF.
And they'll hotshot that, and they don't need to hotshot that either.
No.
I mean, even if you did not hotshot it, but you can start the storyline and just run with it. You can just be storyline.
Yeah.
But this harkens back to more of a bigger issue, and this.
Oh, so MJF was actually his first feud after he won the title, because they had that match. Yeah, forgot about that.
I don't even remember whenever Hangman won the belt. There's been so many damn pay-per-views AEW's put on.
He won it all in. He beat Mox, and then MJF was Forbidden Door, then Fletcher, and now Joe.
Yeah, 3 title defenses in what, one a month, and none of them have meant anything.
I think the match is going to deliver. At least I hope it does here, just because of the 2 people that are in it. But
the match will deliver. But this is the bigger problem with AEW from a traditional wrestling standpoint, not necessarily AEW standpoint, because AEW books differently. But you don't have the heels to stand up to Hangman on the roster that are credible. Moxley dropped the belt to him. You can't circle back to Moxley.
They had their rematch on Dynamite.
MJF, you already used him, and you used Fletcher. Joe's not a heel. Joe's a babyface. Outside of Fletcher and MJF, who else on your card, on your roster, is a credible heel to face your champion, which is why you have Samoa Joe in this spot. You don't have nobody else.
You have Okada and Takeshita doing their thing right now. Like, so it wouldn't make sense to put them in there. So probably next month you're going to get Blood and Guts first after this, and then you'll get 2 weeks later a pay-per-view.
I don't think you see Heyman on Blood and Guts. I think you see him on the next pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But,
I mean,
yeah.
Heyman to me is not dropping the belt, which is why I hate this match, because Joe's credible to take it, but there's no
Can't
suspension. Yeah, there's no suspension of disbelief now that Joe's going to win.
Agreed. Match of the night.
Oh boy, 12 to pick from.
Got like 4 to pick from. I'm between Hangman and Joe and Statlander and Tony.
Those are too obvious. Give me Brodito versus Okada and Takeshita. Just those 4 men in a ring, they should be able to put on freaking magic. Like,
I'll take Joe and give me FTR and Jet Speed.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
I mean, it could deliver. It's going to be on the pre-show, but it could deliver.
Listen, it could be match of the night, but by the time this card gets over with, nobody's going to remember half the card anyways, because of how long this damn show's going to be.
At least the main card is down to 8 matches.
That's
7, 8 is a really good number.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I guarantee you, 8 matches, 4, it'll probably go. It may even go longer than 4 hours.
Yeah.
Is Mercedes?
Nope.
No, Mercedes isn't on here.
So when did she have an open challenge for?
She wrestled last night in CMLL against Paris.
I seen she was having an open challenge for the TBS title.
I think that's Monday
Dynamite.
night.
Oh, no, okay.
Or Wednesday. Yeah, Dynamite.
All right, Jason, want to get in the game?
Yeah, we'll wait on that.
Hold off. Go.
Yeah. Anything else before we skip into the outro? Any quick hitters?
I don't. Like I said, I think I probably have stuff bookmarked, but nothing to get into. I
had AI if we needed something to talk about, but we'll save that, like Steve said.
Yeah, no. But thank you guys for doing what you did. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
In that regards, there.
Of course.
We needed it. We needed to brush up on our chops.
Well, like Donald said, QB1's back in the saddle, so you guys can go back to holding the clipboards.
I'm off next week.
Only quick hitters I had was Mercedes Moné is the longest reigning TBS champ. 509 days when they posted it, and she's only a couple days left, couple days away from Young Bucks is like overall longest reigning champ.
I saw someone compare it that I don't remember the exact number, but comparing her to Jade, I think Jade might have had like say 26 defenses in those days, and I think Mercedes was like 22 or 23, maybe something like that. So like
the workwoman's title.
Yeah.
And I had it saved off the amount of people in line in queue for John Cena's retirement match was close to 60,000 just in line for pre-sale tickets.
That was almost going to be my mush this week, where people, not necessarily people in the queue, but people bitching because it's not a stadium show. It's like, bro, do you know, like how fast do you think you can just randomly book a stadium?
Yeah,
stadiums are booked out months or years in advance. Like, that's not something you just call up and go, hey,
can I get your stadium?
You don't call up the Washington Commanders You don't call the Washington Commanders and go, "Hey, we will run a stadium show in December."
I didn't see that about calling out for stadium show, but yeah, no, not for Saturday night's main event.
Yeah, and then the smaller show just feels more intimate for intimate moments. So. Good.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I'm good.
All right. Thank you for tuning in this. Thank you for tuning into this week's edition of Dunmark's Podcast. Follow us on all social media platforms at Dunmark's Pod. Head on over to dunmarkspod.com. Click the links. Surf Shark.
WWE Shop.
WWE Shop. And with that being said, catch you next week.
No quote.
You know me and these quotes, man. Remember, be yourself.